Hello everyone, this is Dr. Jones. I'm back again to discuss the ILO process. Okay, in the previous video we discussed the overview of IPAS. We went over all of the menu components across the top of the IPAS instance. All right, but today in this particular video we're going to discuss the ILO process, the 6 steps. Primarily, this is, well, it's only for the instructors. The intent behind IPAS is to simply allow the teacher or the instructor to focus on the classroom, research, advisement, these things, without having to worry about quality, because quality is being handled within the process of them doing their job. So there is no reason, or there's no running around a week or so before the evaluators are coming to evaluate your course or your program. You don't have to run around and try to fix documents or put together notebooks. During the normal course of your teaching, all of the quality is being satisfied. That was the intent behind the creation of IPAS. Okay, and later on, once I've completed all of the videos related to the features, I'm going to give a special video, a 5-year reunion video on the history of IPAS, how it happened. And a lot of people that I've told that to said that I should write a case study on it because it's very interesting on how it was created. Okay. And there's a lot of rumors going around about who created IPAS or how it happened or who's been a part of it. I'm going to release that video or that discussion of how it happened later on down in a couple of months or so. We'll put one out just to show the history of how it started. Very interesting story. So let's get back to the ILO process. The ILO process is simple. There's 6 steps. The first step is the assessment upload. In this particular step, we're simply uploading your assessment. Okay, we hit the plus sign, and IPAS has these icons. The plus sign means to add. The pencil means to edit. Okay, and you have a trash can here. You know what that is? That is trash. Okay, and then you have the glass, and this glass simply is to view, a more clearer view. And then you have expansion. In the test instance, we use buttons for the expansion, but here we have just a plus sign that expands whatever information is related to this particular record. Okay, so for now, we're just going to simply add. The instructor adds an assessment. So he hits the plus sign, and once you hit the plus sign, what happens is IPAS takes you to a clean instance. Okay, a clean instance. And in this instance, there are 6 tabs. Okay, the first tab is the header information. Who are you, basically? Okay, your university, your college, your department, your program. Very simple. Next section, the course section, that is simply the term. Okay, now most instructors found that the 6-digit term number is better than the year and the semester, because some of them get mixed up with it. So we went to the term. It's better for tracking. So we pick a term. We pick the course. Now, since we picked the management program, most of the management codes are MGT, but we do have a BUS for business, and we do have an MKT for marketing. So you pick a particular course, and now the CRN represents the course number. Every college, every university has a unique identifier which represents the course, a particular course, when it's being taught and who's teaching it, and the times that is being offered for that course, that time that is being offered. This is called the course number. Over here in Saudi Arabia, you have a CRN, which is a course number. Okay, so they represent 3 sections that are being taught of this course. So they're already pre-filled. Okay, the course numbers are already pre-filled. You don't have to add them. If you needed to add them, you would add them in another spot in IPAS. Okay, you would add them here under the course list. course list, and you'd add a course. And if you add a course, it will show up down here for this particular course code. Okay, so let's say we're adding this course. We're adding actually the assessment, because this is the upload ILO assessment. So this is the most important tab here. The third one, which shows the type of assessment we're uploading. We could be uploading a final exam, and it's just a copy. It can be the answer key, or it can be just a blank copy, okay, of the final exam, midterm, quiz, classwork. You have all the others here: lab assignment, presentation, case study, project or research paper, or evaluation. Now, these three down here are extensions, okay, and we'll talk about them a little later. They're extended, okay, whereby you want to track more than just 10 ILOs. You want to track an additional 5. So IPAS has the power of tracking up to 20 ILOs, or intended learning outcomes, or you can call them learning objectives, per assessment. So per final exam, we have the capability of tracking up to 20, although we go 10 in the initial increment. Okay, you can add an additional 10 by using these extended features here, extended assessments here. Okay, so we're going to say here, for instance, this is the final exam. Okay, final exam again. One of the reasons why in IPAS we have the user put it in by text, and then we also have the user put it in by number, which represents the text. So in this text ID, this type ID, the final exam is represented by a number, but it's in the background. You don't see it. Okay, and this is for tracking through our system database faster, as opposed to words like here, a final exam. Okay, group assessment. What this means is, are you sharing this exam with another instructor? Are you all evaluating, or you have a similar or a unified final exam? If so, you would hit yes here. If you don't, then you would hit no, meaning that there are different instructors teaching different sections of this course. If they choose to have a unified final exam, meaning all of them will give the same final exam to all of their students, okay, then you would hit yes here. Okay, then you would click choose and upload the actual file. You would upload the file that reflects the assessment. So I'm going to go here. I'm just going to, just for demonstration purposes, I'm not going to actually upload it, but just to show you. Okay, this is a final exam. So I'm going to take this one here, and I'll put that there just to show you. Now it's added, it's uploaded, and there's the link. Okay, there's the link. The student count. How many students were assessed in this final exam? Let's say 40 were assessed. How many questions was on this final exam? Let's take this 32 here. 32 questions. How many marks? Say 40 marks. 32 questions, 40 marks. Is it a male, female class, or is it co-ed, meaning both? Okay, so that's the student count. We kind of get a little information on the demographics of this assessment. Okay, and then do you want a receipt? In other words, do you want an email confirmation of what you just did? Okay, do you want an email confirmation? If you do, select the email that's in here, and we kind of put the faculty information here. So if you want to add a faculty member, and that email that populates this drop down is coming from the faculty tab. Okay, and then you hit add, and it adds it. Okay, now this feature here is simply to delete this record. If you want to delete this record, or you want to go in and delete a previous record you may have put in, just click here and hit remove. So this is what the upload does. It simply gives the information. It gives the actual upload, the actual document that you're assessing the students on. It also tells what type of document it is, what type of assessment, final exam. It lets the quality people or whoever is assessing the program know whether this was a final exam that was done within a group, meaning multiple sections of this course. Okay, and it also gives the demographics on the actual exam in terms of students, questions, marks, and the demographics of the student: male, all male class, all female class, or co-ed, meaning both. Okay, and then it gives you a receipt. This is emailed to you, by the way. So once you do this, it sends you an email with a review of everything you've done. Okay, so you get that. And once you've done that, okay, once you've hit add, this filters throughout the system. Throughout the IPAS system, this is now recorded and it's activated. So this actual upload now activates a whole lot of other things, especially within these next 5 steps, 2 through 6. Okay, so let's go on from there. So say for instance, and we're going to go back here. Say for instance, we took one, and I'm just going to take one that I've actually worked on. Okay, this is a project risk management course. Okay, so this is one that I've actually taught, and that's my username. But right now I'm logged in as the admin of the IPAS system. But if I logged in under my username when I'm actually teaching a class and putting it into IPAS, then I use my login. Okay, so here you have 2 assessments. Okay, 21 students in the final exam, and 20 students took the midterm. So one person was absent. That's all that's saying. Okay, now that this is added, let's look at it for a second. Let's go to the view and let's look at it. You see the university, the college, the department, the program. You see the term, the course code, the year. Here's the year and the semester. Now you see them here. But when you're entering it, you're only asked to enter the term, and then the system populates the year and the semester based on the term that you select. Okay, instructors found this to be much more easier when we were testing IPAS with them. You have the CRN, and then it captures the date that it was actually entered. Okay, January 19, 2020. And now the assessment. It was a final exam. It wasn't shared by any other instructors. Now, this initial target, 62%. Okay, this initial target, where did we get this from? This initial target reflects all of the grades that were given in this class before I taught the class. Okay, all of the grades, the total distribution grade point average divided by 4. That gives you a forecast of the average, okay, in terms of the 62%, okay, that are passing this class, whether it's a combination of A, B, C, or D. Let me stop for a second. Let me go to the ICR Initial Targets. The ICR Initial Targets, what it is simply is it is a historical capture. This is MGT 455, the course that I taught, okay, that I actually put in here and showed you a few minutes ago. I'm going to hit search, and there it is. There is the 62% that we were talking about. 87 students took this class before I taught it. The average GPA of those 87 altogether is 2.5. Okay, we simply take the 2.5 and divide it by 4. This gives us the initial target of 62%. So this means that historically, okay, the average students that have actually, the average 87, looking at the total 87, 62% of those students passed the class. The other 38% do not. So there's a 38% failure rate for project risk management. That's what that is saying. There's a 38% failure rate. There's a 62% rate. Now, my job, now that I have the class, I have to increase that rate. This goes to the actual standards, one of the standards related to learning of the AACSB. How can you demonstrate that the actual learning is that you're progressing in the classroom as it relates to actual learning of the students of the given course? Where IPAS has it right here. The historicals, it keeps the historicals. Where is it getting the historicals from? The grade distribution. Okay, I'm going to be required to put the grade distribution in for my class. That now increases this initial target for the next semester for whoever else comes behind me or comes after me. I'm sorry, to teach this class. So that's what that means. Now that we have the assessment upload in, we now have to link the ILOs. Okay, so let's go back to that same course, management, MGT 455. Okay, and the CRN is 4510. Okay, so here we linked it already. So let's look at it. Okay, so we can hit here actually, and we can see the links. Okay, so we can see the tracking of the ILOs. Now, when we hit this, you see it multiple times. One of them is the midterm exam. The other is the final. If you want to go into detail about just the final exam, you would just hit the glass and go to ILO 1. Okay. These are the questions that measure ILO 1. Okay. And ILO 1, the description is list the basic processes of project risk management. Okay. So this measures the basic processes, measuring whether or not the student is able to list them, identify them. Okay. And this is the forecast, meaning that I have 21 students that took this course. What it's saying is, historically, out of the actual, and I think this is 20, yes, 20. Out of the actual 20, let me make sure that this is the final exam. That's correct. 21 is showing 20 here. So after that, it shows that on average, expect 7 people to score poor. That means below 60%. This is based on the historicals that we talked about here in the initial targets. Expect 5 people to score between 89 and 60%. And then it expects 8 people to score between 90 and 10%, or 90 and 100% on this particular ILO, where you're listing the basic processes of the project risk management. So here is ILO 2, where we describe the 6 steps. Step 3, or ILO 1.3, where we outline the project management competencies and capabilities. Okay, ILO 4, it was 2.4, the contrast and assumptions versus risks as they relate to several types of risk identification methodologies. Okay, we're using true and false. We're using matching to achieve or evaluate this particular ILO. And it goes on for all of the rest of the ILOs related to the final exam. If I wanted more than 8, say I wanted more ILOs to measure than 10, then I will go back to what I was telling you here in reference to the assessment, and I would use the internal extension. Okay, the one that you saw before under the types, and we're going to go back to that. I'm just going to show it to you real quickly. If I wanted more ILOs to measure than just 10, okay, I would go back, okay, to the final exam here, assessment type. Where is it? Let me go to edit, and then you can see it in the drop down. You would see that internal extension. Course section, student count, here under type ID, the extended ILO final exam. I would create another record, and that will give me 10 more ILOs related to the final exam. So if I wanted 20 or I wanted 15, I can get that. I would have to extend the assessment, create an additional record extending the assessment type and select the extended ILO final exam. Okay, so once we have done that, and now we're on the linking of that particular ILO. So we link the ILOs. Okay, we link the ILOs for term 2018-02 management, the course being MGT 445 or 455, I'm sorry, and then the CRN being 4510. Okay, so here are the links to the ILO, the final exam, the assessment type, and here are the ILOs. And as you can see at the very end here, you have chapters. So you have the ILO, you have the forecast, you have the target. This is historically the target. Now, the initial target was 62%. However, that 62% was based on a number of students. It takes that calculation and adjusts it for the number of students you have in your class. So it fluctuates. So as you see here, 20 students, that means it's higher. So IPAS takes the basis or the premise that the less students, the higher your target outcome should be. The more students you have, the lower your outcome will be. Okay, so as you can see here, okay, with 20 students, it's 68% target outcome. With 21, just one extra student, it increases 2%. So now your forecast, you have to come 70% or higher in your class because you have more students to assess as you did before in the midterm as opposed to the final. Okay, so that's what that means. Now let's go to the results. Say, for instance, you've graded your papers. You've identified the results. Okay, you've identified each question and you've tallied them by number of student. Okay, we have a worksheet that actually does that or helps you do that. And we use a third-party system called ZipGrade to actually do it for you automatically. You just simply upload the CSV file. If you are using a bubble sheet and you're using a scan, ZipGrade allows you to use a bubble sheet and use your cell phone to actually scan in the grades. And it creates a CSV that IPAS can configure and load the results for you. And I will demonstrate that in a separate video for the sake of time. So if you have 60 or 70 students in a class, it's still the same thing. You leverage the ZipGrade feature, and I'll actually click on it and go to the ZipGrade feature. This is a third-party application. Okay, and it integrates directly into IPAS. As you can see from that 455 class, I taught that class. Okay, and here's the final exam, okay, that I had for that class. And here are all the bubble sheets of the students that I had in that class. It was 21 papers representing 21 students. Okay, as I scan in the student's grade, it creates a CSV document for me. And this is the document. I take this document and I load it directly into IPAS. That is where you see the ZipGrade feature. If you come here, you will see the ZipGrade feature, and it will load the results in for you. Okay, this is a feature for instructors who have a lot of students in their class, and they still have to load that information in for the purposes of evaluating the course. Okay, so let's assume that we've put the information in. I can close that now. Okay, so we put all the information, the actual results. Now, what IPAS does is it compares, and I'm going to go in individually so you can see it. IPAS actually compares the actual results to the forecast. Remember, the forecast was 7, 5, and 8. Well, now IPAS is showing, and I think I'm going to switch over really quick just to show you, because I've actually loaded this in another instance, these actual results. So I'm going to take that same course just for purposes of this demonstration. Okay, I'm going to go to my test instance of IPAS just to show you this. Okay, so IPAS takes the results, and here they are for that final exam. Let's go back in. Okay, and now we're still in the same one we were in before, 21. But now, and there's the 7, there's the 5, and there's the 8 in terms of forecast. The results was 9 people actually scored poor, 12 people actually did acceptable, and no person scored between a 90 and 100% on this particular question. This ILO, these 5 questions, only 8 people actually did quite well or acceptable. So as we put in the results, you see the forecast and then you see the actual results right next to it. This is what IPAS does. So you put those results in and then you view them. Step 4 is simply viewing those results. Okay, so we simply go back and we put this information back in, and the same course 455, and the CRN is 4510. And then we actually see the target, the actual outcome, and whether or not the students passed. Okay, so let's hit that. And here they go. Okay, so for this ILO, 85% of the class passed. 1.1. For 1.2, 60% of the class passed, and we came below the target. For ILO 1.3, 90% of the class did well, ideal. Okay. So ILO 2.1, 85% of the class did well. Okay. So here you have it. And it goes on. I am not going to read all of them to you. So this is what the view, step 4, is. Now, the grade distribution. Once you've entered your grades and you've gotten a final grade, so grade distribution only deals with the final grade. Make no mistake about it. What was the final grade of the students in that class? How many A's, how many B's you had? Not the actual individual student, but a tally. So if we look at it, and I'm going to look at it here. So the final GPA, okay, I had 2 A's, 2 B pluses, 2 B's, 1 C plus, 7 C's, 1 D plus, 4 D's, 3 F's. And that total gave me a 1.93 average for that class. Okay, so that distribution now will feed. It will now feed the initial target. So the next instructor who teaches MGT 455, it will include the information from all of the historicals plus my course, plus my teaching it in the actual spring semester of 2018. Okay. Right. So the next one. The next step is simply adding information related to the course report. So we click on that. We click on the course report, header, and we start to go through the sections. So here are the sections. In order to clean this up, we have to filter. So IPAS, what we do in any one of our pages, we show everything. And then we allow the instructor to filter to that which is relevant to them, that particular course. Okay, so here it is, and I think for purposes of clarity, I'm gonna switch back to my other instance and show the actual course report header in a cleaner form. You'll see it, and then I'm going to the management 4, 5. So here is the actual production view of it, and you see it's much cleaner. And then you have all of them coming across. Okay, you have section B1. This is related to not the most current course report, but the one that was just replaced. Okay, and the instructor has the ability to put in the actual contact hours for each chapter they covered in relation to the course specification, planned hours. And though you have the variance here, okay, that must be explained if not met. Okay. So in the course specification, there's 3 contact hours for chapter 1. I actually did 3 actual hours for chapter 1. Okay, so you have to add all of the actuals of what you did. And if there's a variance, it needs to be explained. And if you need to explain it, okay, you would explain it here. I did not cover chapter 8. Why did I not cover chapter 8? I can say because the video conferencing, because this was a female class, by the way, the video conferencing this is going back here. I don't know why this is doing this, but we're going to get it right. Video conferencing problems. We'll just say that. Video conferencing problems. That there. Okay. Let's fix that here. Problems. Save. So we'll save it. We'll put it in there just to show you. Okay. And now if we go back to our course report header, okay, it has our information in there. And if we go back here, now when we do the course report, you will see that this will come through on the course report. The video conferencing problems was one of the reasons why we did not cover this particular chapter. Okay, so we would have to go on and complete all of the necessary headers, okay, where they are applicable. Okay, for the summary, if I want to say something related to the course learning outcomes, I can just click on the pencil. Anytime I want to add input, I will click on the pencil. In terms of the response, okay, in terms of the response, okay, we assessed 10 ILOs, the course plan 11 ILOs, okay, and so we covered 91%, okay. Of the ILOs passed, okay, ILOs failed 80%. The ideal was 10%. Okay, for this particular class, not many people did well, so they want to know why. They want to know why it was not well. Why wasn't this class done well? Okay, so that's where we would explain it. You have the teaching method, what methods we used. It reads it from the ILOs. Okay. The ILOs that you select, they have teaching methods in the course specifications. And if you covered it, it would say yes, unless you say something else. Now, I did not offer any cases for this particular course, and it knows that from the ILOs that I selected to evaluate. Okay, so if I wanted to explain any of the yeses or any of the nos, I would just hit the pencil. The results. The results is simply the actual distribution. Again, once you put the distribution into step 5, it automatically populates the distribution section of the course report, which is C1. Okay, if you want to explain the 3 Fs, hit the pencil and explain why those 3 people made Fs, or what do you think the problem was in terms of the Fs. Then you have a special factors section, anything that was a factor in affecting your ability to deliver the course. This is where that goes. Then you have results related to the plan assessment. Okay, you did not utilize a quiz. It already knows it because you didn't select it to measure. So IPAS knows you didn't use it. You didn't use any classwork. Okay, so if you want to explain why you didn't, here's the opportunity. Because this class was taught over video conferencing, the concept of classwork and quizzes would be very difficult to actually maintain for an instructor that is teaching via video conferencing. Okay, so that's why that was not utilized. Domain of learning, this is not one that you need to complete. Grade verification, direct assessment, and this is where the independent evaluator would go. Okay, it was assessed by an independent evaluator. Then you have the resources and facilities. If there was anything related to resources and facilities that affected your ability to deliver the class, you hit the pencil and explain why. All of this will flow directly to the course report. Then you have the course evaluation. Okay, anything related to the evaluation of the course. Okay, right here is where you explain it. And then planning for improvement, whatever you want to do in terms of improvement. If you want to plan something and you want that to go forward for a decision when the annual report is discussed at the department council, this should flow up to the annual report and then it should warrant a discussion, okay, if the program coordinator deems it needs to be discussed. Then you have an action plan, and then you have other plan improvements, whereby if you have anything, you would click on the pencil and you will explain it here. So this covers the ILO process, and in order to see the results of the ILO process, we go to other web portals. We click the IPAS reporting survey services, okay, and then we put in our password. Normally this would go directly through for me, okay, but I'm working on a server here that does not have my credentials in the browser like I normally do, but in any event, I have it. So you would go to reporting services after you have populated all of the information in the 6 steps that's required, okay, and then from there you would go and you would retrieve your course report. Now, surveys, you just send the survey link out to the students, and whatever the results are for that survey, it will come in on the actual course report for your class. So I have a lot of stuff here, and this is based on quality deanship requesting certain things. So what I'm looking for is the course report. And so I'm going to take this 2017 course report template. I'm going to click on that. And then I'm going to go retrieve that course report, which is MGT 455 and the CRN being 4510. We're going to go retrieve that. And remember, we wrote some things in. We made some comments as it relates to the actual teaching strategies not used. Okay, so we're going to go back and we're going to do that. And now here we select the actual program, we select the course, and here is our CRN. It automatically comes over, automatically. Now we can set the date upon which we want to show on our course report. Okay, the section, it was a female section. Okay, normally you will get this from the actual your attendance roster. It will show you the section. It's on the female campus, and I am the program coordinator. But at this particular junction, Dr. R.B. Sheikh, Dr. Tripathi is the program coordinator for management during this time. So now I retrieved the course report, and now you see it. Okay, this is the first page, and we're going to move this up now that we have that information. Okay, now you have the plan versus actuals. Here is the video conference problems that I typed in for chapter 8. It came over. Okay, here is the ILO performance for the final exam, the ILO performance. Okay, the final exam numbers were not put in. Okay, but the midterm numbers, as you can see here, they were put in. I did not put in the final exam results as of yet, but the midterm numbers are in the course report. You go to the next page, it shows you the actual teaching methods, and this is reading from the ILOs that you measured and the course specification that was planned, the methods that were placed on the course specification. This is the grade distribution that comes through on the course report automatically. Okay, any of the improvements, okay, they come through. Now for this particular course report, okay, down here, the evaluation of the surveys, this came through from the students directly, each section. The course evaluation survey, the results come in. Here is my results, and here's the historical for every instructor that taught the course before me. Okay, so I didn't do so well. Okay, here is the section 4.1 overall, and I got a 4. Okay, and a lot of this can be attributed to technical difficulties related to the video conferencing. Okay, so here is the actual results. My results compared to the historicals. But if you look at the instructor, my effectiveness when the video conferencing was working is 4.6. Historically, the instructors before me was a 4.5. So I did the best I could given the resources that I had. Okay, so at that point, okay, the course report is done. Now you can just extract it into Word, sign it, and if you want to upload it again, okay, we would sign it, we would download it into Word, okay, it would be signed. Okay, so here it is. So here's that course report, all of the information there. Okay, you see it. There may be some adjustments from time to time depending on the version of Word that you have. Some sections will kind of move around, but not too much. So you can easily move them back up or bring them up or make the necessary adjustments to bring them up like I just did there. And that's probably all you would need to do. And this is simply because of the change in versions of Microsoft Word. Okay, but that shouldn't affect you in actually printing it out and actually doing the necessary, getting the necessary signatures from your program coordinator, and you actually signing it yourself. Now, once that's done, the last piece, and I'm going to show it here, but I'm not going to go into a lot of detail until we actually get to it, is the course electronic file closet. Because your course report is part of the evaluation of the quality deanship. They look at that course report. Okay, so what needs to be done there is you need to actually upload that course report into your actual electronic file closet for this course. Now, everyone has one. All of the documents in terms of assessment step 1 came over. Here they are. That final exam you loaded. The midterm you loaded. Here is the course report. Okay. Here is samples of the midterm exam. Now, samples of the final exam they need to be done in other documents that DQD wants, or the Department of Quality Deanship. They all are loaded here. Okay, into your electronic file closet. If I wanted to load, say, the grade distribution or the ICR, okay, I would come to course files. I would click the plus sign, okay, and I would actually start to qualify who I am. This is Dr. Jones. This is the term. This is the CRN. It already knows the courses that I taught this term. Already knows because it's reading it from the course list that was uploaded from the banner. Okay, the banner, whatever banner or whatever system you have, we can extract it as a CSV file and upload it into IPAS. Okay, so here's the banner, the list. So it knows that I taught 4510. Okay, maybe I want to, this is all the things that I can load. So maybe I want to load the Excel spreadsheet for this class. The Excel spreadsheet, it gives me a breakdown of the grades as well as the distribution. The ICR and Excel spreadsheet, I want to upload that. Okay, now I'm going to go choose it. Okay, and I can choose it from here. Okay, this is the course I taught. Here is the ICR and the Excel spreadsheet here. I can take it from here, or I can actually upload the actual spreadsheet. But what I plan to do is just use the PDF. Here it is right here. And I'm going to hit upload. Sometimes it starts. If it doesn't start, then you click start and it'll upload. I hit add, so it's added. Now, where do I see it? I go back to my electronic file closet, and I will see that the ICR as well as all other things are loaded in this course. There it is there. The ICR is right here. So I can continue to load my documents up, and then they will be actually loading into what was originally a notebook, okay, with a whole lot of papers in it. Now we have moved in response to the 2020 transformation, digital transformation requirements. IPAS fulfills that requirement with the electronic closet, where all of our information, the course specification, the syllabus, the final exams, the course report, samples, ICR, and anything else that the quality deanship needs to measure our effectiveness in terms of quality in delivering the class is there. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and thank you very much.